Welcome to Narrowboat with James Bill. Hope you're well, thanks for joining me. Today I need to carry on with the hearth and the fireplace install because Lockgate are coming out in a couple of days to install my Reflecks Diesel Stove, which is going to be, well, it's exciting because it's getting cold. Right, I've sanded that down so it's all nice and flush, and I need to find myself a bit of PVC to go on there. I think I've got white, black and timber. Right, I've started trimming this down. I'm going to mark out the curve and see if I can get this done properly and stick it on basically. Okay, so this is the PVC sheet I'm using. I'm just getting it quite to place in position, and then I'm going to stick it down, and then I'll be able to sand the edge back and make it nice and flush with the trim. And to stick this down, I'm using some contact adhesive. So you put a coat on that side, a coat on the other side, wait for them to go a little bit tacky, and then stick them together. Right, I'll leave that to go off for a couple of hours. Now I need to get myself a board, do some kerf bends, and basically bend it around there to make the back of the fireplace. I'm well happy with that. That looks bloody brilliant. It's got a really nice, that's really nice and smooth. The edge there, just went and sanded it all back right through the grits. That's all nice and clean. This, if you get a stain on it, from what I've discovered, just basically sands off quite easily. It's kind of matty anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But that just looks like a really decent solid piece. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Right, now it's time to build the back of the fireplace. It's basically going to go from kind of that point there, round there, smallish curve, and then to the same point on there. The height of the Reflecks Diesel Stove is just shy of 600mm, so I'm going to have the fireplace coming up just above that. So that's going to look quite nice. It kind of comes up to that level there and there. So yeah, that'll be quite a nice feature, and then the top of that I'll be able to put in some kind of top bit to finish it off. Right, and luckily I'm able to repurpose this. So this is 92 wide, so I just got to lop a little bit off there because I need it to be 90. Right, here's the board. So I'm going to have a 30cm on each side square bit, and then it just bends round in the middle there, in the right in the corner. So for that, I'm going to do some kerf bends through here. So circular saw, just a whole load of parallel lines, perpendicular to the grain. And then I should be able to bend it in this way, glue it up, and then I can put the cement board on the inside. Right, I've made all my lines. I think it's got a bend to it. Not much of one, but I reckon it will work. Okay, so the idea is that bends in like that. Now I've just got to kind of glue and clamp this in place. Obviously I'm not going to be able to do it on this. There's going to be a fair bit of tolerance in all of this stuff, because once this is rigid and set, then around here I'll be putting some vertical strips of cement board, and then it'll be tiled in front of that. So there's quite a bit to go on this still. I reckon that would be the best way to get a decent 90-degree bend. Is maybe secure it in here and not use ratchet straps like I was going to. Clamp it in there, clamp it here, somehow clamp it around here if I can. Right, I've managed to find a way to clamp this in place. and it's given me quite a nice tight curve, to be honest. So I'll let that go off overnight, and then tomorrow I can trim down the uprights made of cement board. Right, this has had a day to go off now, so I'm pretty sure that'll be all right. It might have a bit of movement to it, but it's still got to be clamped up in place there and there. So I'm going to take this apart now and see what it looks like. That's good, it didn't kind of patang out away. It's got a bit of flex to it still, but it's got its position. Doesn't need to be as big as that. You can come in, there's going to be some trim coming up there, there'll be trim going across there, trim going up the side there to meet the countertop. Yeah, that'll be alright. Right, so before I do any work to the back of the fireplace, I'm going to give this a crack. Literally, basically, I've got to cut this to the right height, which is 600, so I need to kind of cut it down there, and then I need to put this in strips. So the idea is, when that's in place, I'm just going to have vertical strips going all the way up, and that will, as long as it's kind of sealed on this front side, that should suffice. I'm not using CS board on this install, which is calcium silicate board, for the very fact that this is a convection stove and doesn't work on radiation like a multi-fuel stove, which basically this whole area heats up and radiates heat out. But with a Reflecks Diesel stove, it draws the cold air in at the bottom and then chucks it out at the top. So it doesn't really, you know, and I've seen it on Rob's boat, his fireplace doesn't get hot at all. There's no heat around here whatsoever, really. There's a hot plate resting about up here, which obviously does get hot, and the flue gets hot, but in terms of the actual stove, not so much. First up, I need 2 lengths of 30. So should be a case of just taking it over the support and snapping it. Result. Right, how much of this have I got? I think I've got enough. Yeah, I have. I might double up on this stuff. It's kind of, so far it's proving quite easy to cut, and that will protect any potential gaps I've got, and also it'll double up the fire protection. So yeah, I'm going to do that. Right, so now I've got to do thin strips to go around the curve. So what do I reckon they're going to be? 40 mil? I reckon that's probably about right. Good. Right, just keep doing this. I've got to go around a 30 centimetre bend. Is that block going to be too wide actually? No, I think that's going to be alright. Right, that snap bit doesn't really matter because it's only going to come up to the height of the fireplace. But I'm just trying to see what kind of fit I get at 40mm width of those, and I think that's going to be absolutely fine. Especially if I double up on it. Right, let's carry on. How many of these strips do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, I've just got to trim this down a little bit. I've just lopped a bit off that edge there because those bends weren't taking as well as those bends, so the curve basically starts sooner there. So it's meant that I'm able to kind of push this back a little bit. Now I'm able to put in 2 layers of fireproofing. So it kind of gives me a little, it kind of eats into the fireplace a little bit less therefore. So now I've just got to make some supports to go to brace this up here, and then I can brace this to here. Good, right, it's the same gap on each side. Happy days. That's looking pretty good. It's all nice and secure. It's firmed that up a bit as well, but yeah, that's decent. That's going nowhere. Right, I do need to cut everything down height-wise as well. Right, so later tonight, when I get myself some more adhesive, I'm going to put the second layer of the fireproofing, and then obviously it's going to be tiled in after that, so thickness might be about just over 1 inch thick, but that'll be all right. It'll all be kind of concealed nicely with trim and stuff. But yeah, I'm well happy that's all as it is. They're going to have to cut through some for some pipes and stuff like that, so I've got the diesel line coming in. That's not going to be a problem coming behind the galley. I've got the other 2 pipes going return and flow from the calorifier, so they're going to have to come out of this somewhere. So obviously I won't tile it before they do that. I'll be able to tile it afterwards. I'm just going to go with mosaic, so if there are pipes and stuff like that, it's going to be quite easy for me just to kind of tile around it. That's the plan. Right, a bit of a tidy up, and so they don't think I'm a complete slob. Right, last little bit of tidying up to do before Lockgate get here tomorrow. I'm well happy it is in that situation today. So Tuesday, it had to be like that before they get here tomorrow on Wednesday. I'll see you then. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.